Hey Scorpio, thank you for joining me. This is a reading for mid-Cancer season. So until like the end of July, essentially, maybe a bit into Leo, but um it really is for whenever you feel like it is correct. So might be in a year or so that you listen to this. Same time of the year or any other time really. I feel like there's a lot going on with you, like a lot of outside forces are at play here. But before I say anything really about what I feel, I need to see some cards on the table. We have the Six of Swords here. And I put it there so you can see it. It's an Aquarius card, the second deacon. A card that talks about going from one phase of one's life into the next. It can also mean being in a fertile place, in between polarities, like you're like a diplomat or like a magical scientist in between, like translating in between magic and science, or like a scientific magician, I guess. I don't know what to call it, but it's like it could also be like, yeah, like translating between more mentally oriented people and more emotionally oriented people, or the two sides within yourself. There's like your left brain and or your right brain, that sort of thing. Can we have a second card here, please? No, that's not good enough. I want to have an energy that's committing and not just showing itself and then just leaving again. What can we see for the present moment for Scorpio for mid-Cancer season? Thank you. Seven of Pentacles, 6 and 7. So that's sequential, but it's different. Suits, though, they're also sequential. Pentacles follows from Swords. And the Ten of Pentacles, and it's just jumped out right into the perfect place, like right where I would put it. Maybe a bit like, I'm gonna put the underlying card, which is the Six of Cups, right next to it, but it just jumped into place. And the Ten of Pentacles is a card talk about legacy and heritage, what we're leaving behind, like the the fruits of our work, but really the absolute, this is it, the it thing. Um, and Martin Goldsmith, whose deacon symbols are very much cherished, um, it talks about a contract between, I think it's workers and establishment. But if I combine it with the imagery of the Wade Smith deck, then it would be like the generational contract that we have, or any other social contract, really. It can also be karmic contracts, like karma in its like widest term in general. Things like contracts that are invisible, I would say. So it doesn't really touch human, like legal lower realm law, I would say, because this is the last decan of Virgo. And Virgo is not really about uh, legal situations in the more practical kind of way. So it's more like on the higher side of things. It is more about the laws of nature, the magical laws, the rules of this world, or the rules that we make, our higher self makes or has selves make for us, in the background, in the invisible, that we are supposed to follow. I guess we're supposed to follow them. Maybe we don't always know what these rules are, so it's a bit hard to follow at times. Underlying the energy is the Six of Cups here, and that is mid Scorpio energy. And I'm just looking up Martin Goldsmith's understanding of this decan, which is, he phrased it as the following, and I'm quoting: canoeing down a river under the sliver of a moon, a courting couple discusses a nasty yelling match they had a while back. When the canoe gets stuck on something, the woman leans over and looks underwater to see what is hanging them up. So Martin Goldsmith also takes up on the past playing a big role. Like traditionally, the card is talking about childhood, how like kind of like going into this fairy tale or the fairy tale part of our childhood. I mean, fairy tales can also be very disturbing and dark. If you think about the Brothers Grimm stories, I mean, they're called Grimm, right? For a reason. Although they're German, are they German? Oh, I don't wanna. I'm kind of biased there because I'm German by passport at least. So maybe they're Austrian. No, I don't know. I think they're German anyway. I don't know. Um, implying that their name. Well, I'm just wondering if it's a false friend in between English and German. If we would say Grimm, yeah, you could have some sort of same meaning of the word Grimm as grim in English. Das sieht grimm aus. It sounds very old though, like old-fashioned, very old-fashioned. Anyway, anecdote for you right there. So there's like, I'm wondering if it's like creatures of the past returning. I mean, it is the Mercury retrograde right now, and I pointed out the period for this reading quite like emphasizing the period of this reading in the beginning of the video, and I usually don't do it that way. And the Mercury retrograde does last until the end of the month, and I think until the 27th of July 2026. So this reading might also apply to any Mercury retrograde in the future when you're watching it. When you're reflecting on a period in your life where there was a Mercury retrograde, or preparing for one, for a time when one is coming up, might work as well. But there is, since this Mercury retrograde is in Cancer, third going from the third decan to the second, it is very much about our core and our emotions tucked up neatly and tidily somewhere in the corner of a shelf in the basement in a room that we never enter. I mean, it's you, Scorpio, right? That's your home court, home game, home stadium, whatever. It's your bread and butter to go poking around in stuff to look for the truth, right? Yeah. that is kind of setting the stage, I would say, and I'm going to clarify now with this pre-shuffled deck um, the Six of Swords to see what this polarization I talked about is like playing out in your life. Like, is this higher self, lower self, men, women, parents, children, aspects within yourself, reflected how in the outer world? Knight of Wands. That's, oops, the fastest knight in the deck. So something has happened very fast in the past. Maybe you didn't have enough time, oopsie, interesting, to the world. I don't read upside down cards or reversed cards. Maybe you didn't have enough time to kind of process it in the moment because things were just happening on top of each other, and you just had to put your emotions away to be able to function in the moment, so to speak. And it is now time to kind of bring it to the forefront again to process it. Like, I mean, that's the definition of trauma. When we need to, when we're unable to, for whatever reason, to process information, to process emotions really in the moment, and have to just leave it. Sorry, it's I don't know why I got so sidetracked there. The Page of Cups came out, and underneath the deck here is now the Three of Swords. I mean, heartbreak, yeah. Something happened there. It's also my card of kind of like being stuck in your own story, kind of like getting lost in your own thoughts, getting lost in an identity that is not up to date any longer, but your thoughts have not caught up yet. And this absolutely can happen with trauma because trauma is about the emotional world, but in order to for the lower self and the higher self to have a fluid conversation with each other, and so that the lower self, like our representations here, in this physical realm, so that we can have a meaningful, purposeful life and don't run into like major problems everywhere and anywhere. We need to have a free flow, but also in between our emotions and our thoughts, because these are just two different systems of information. The lower, the more slowly moving emotional world, and the far faster mental world. But our job, I think, here on in the lower realm is to have these two worlds connect with each other very intimately and intensely so that there is little hiccups, so to speak, that we need an alignment. That's what I'm trying to show you here. And I think this is what the Six of Swords is about. The polarization is in between like the higher self and the lower self, like whose job is what. Your job is to be aware of your emotions, be aware of your thoughts, clean up yourself inside yourself so that the emotions and the thoughts can just come and flow and leave again when it's time for them to leave. Is um, the trauma comes in when the emotions get stuck, get tucked away into the basement, into the last corner of a freaking shelf you never look at. That is the stuff that gets other emotions then get stuck onto that trauma, and then at some point you're gonna have a clogged pipe, so to speak. Um, I'm mixing analogies here, obviously, but I hope that you can still understand me here. So we have the work card here, but I marked it because this deck has two extra cards. I put them in there. Um, and traditionally, this card is associated with Saturn, but this marked card is the second world card, so it's associated with Setna. And I put it in there because I have Setna and Eris as modern rulers of Virgo and Eris, respectively. And sadhana is exactly the kind of energy that is working on you or has been working on you in the background, which is this. I don't know if you're familiar with the mythology, but Sedna is this female figure who is being pushed into the water, being drowned, really, by her father. Um, and she dies, she drowns, but she also resurrects herself. So it's, I think, and yeah, the word card, the first time I showed it to you, it was actually reversed. So the transformation has not happened. You're still drowning. You have not been able to resurrect yourself. You have not been able to touch a specific trauma that was um, that originated from this instance that just overwhelmed you. This Knight of Wands that just came in too fast and was like, you have no time. We just need to go ahead. Can I know more about this Knight of Wands, maybe? What are we gonna? Okay. We're gonna take this one, and we're gonna take that one. Ooh. The big ugly guns are being put into position. Like we're gonna use the Thoth deck. I usually don't use the deck, but every once in a while the ugly stuff needs to come to surface. And with Aleister Crowley being being the mastermind behind this deck, and yeah, I think it's appropriate if you know anything about his biography. I do not recommend it, but then again, you're Scorpio, right? So maybe I do recommend it just for you. I'm a curious being, so I would want to know like all the filth and ugly stuff that is possible in life. I just want to know it all. So, but be warned. So what can we see about this Knight of Wands here? What can we see? Ooh, the Fool showing itself, but not committing. What can we see about this Knight of Wands? Yes, thank you, I can. That is the, sorry, the Justice card associated with Libra. I'm just gonna put it right over it. What else can we see? What else can we see here? What is accompanying this Justice card? There we go. Wheel of Fortune. Ah, these cards are so beautiful. Despite their heritage. At the bottom is the Knight of Pentacles. That's the energy you would have needed, just more time. And the Three of Cups. It feels like something was actually righted. It feels like something was righted in your life, but it overwhelmed you. But I'm not sure that it showed itself in a nice way. But the underlying energy is really, really nice, really justice. The Wheel of Fortune. A right, a wrong was righted, but I'm not sure that you have caught up to it yet. You have not made the there is a missing update on your identity, I want to say, about this. The Three of Cups is a card of celebration and emotional support networks traditionally, but I think it is much more about receiving the support by the different aspects of yourself within yourself than it's really an outer support network. Although, of course, the outer represents the inner, um, so we can see it on the outside sometimes, but not always. Because the inner comes first and the outer is just the consequence of the inner. It's not the other way around. We live inner lives here that have an outer representation, and not we live a materialistic life and we also have something on the inside going on. That's bullshit. Although we are being taught that like from day one we come into the society, aren't we not? Like, it's bullshit. Anyway, let's look at the present situation. There we have the Seven of Pentacles. So something takes way longer, like, than you, yeah, same card, seriously. That you think it should. Yeah, you just need time. Eight of Pentacles is showing itself. Like, you just need patience. You just need patience with yourself. You cannot speed something up that cannot be sped up, simply said. And I don't want to downplay the difficulties that you're going through. It's probably a lot of suckiness and negative feelings that you need to hold in the moment. Because the Seven of Pentacles is just, it is just a difficult energy. What can I say? But it is also appreciating the gifts that come in from an unexpected direction. Um, like, imagine this person like leaning on the hoe, like the fruits are not quite ripe yet. It takes all way longer, and you've put in so much work, and still it's not effing working. But maybe, maybe it also can inspire your inspiration. Like this dude, while he is leaning on his hoe there, he could have a look at the surroundings, not just the plant, this freaking plant, in front of him, but maybe also at the sky. Maybe he sees birds. Like sometimes I see here, although like where I live in my apartment, when I look out the window, sometimes I see seagulls, and I don't live anywhere close to the ocean. Like it's very far away. But of course, seagulls are not just living at the seaside. We do have quite some, well, not that much water. Like we don't have huge lakes here at all, but we do have some rivers, smaller streams really, but one bigger river. And every once in a while I see a seagull. And I really, really, really appreciate that. I'm just giving you some example, like how you can find appreciation of the moment of something like I'm bored, I don't know what to do, I'm just looking out the window, something to trigger your imagination of how this associates with your situation. And we actually have the Nine of Swords that just came out, that I just held here for a little while until I finished my sentence, or rather thought here. It's the Nine of Swords. I mean, it is the nightmare card traditionally. I mean, it's this horrible situation being depicted here, pitch black background, a person very sorrowful, maybe even crying. Um, not being able to sleep, having nightmares. It is a card for me that talks about confrontations. It's Mars in Gemini, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that up so I'm not lying. Yeah, it is Mars, but it's also a bit of an unconscious card, a bit of a moonish card, I would say, or a deacon. So let me give you a viewpoint of this card that is more upbeat or more, yeah, a different side of the energy. And I'm quoting Martin Goldsmith here with his deacon symbol. A young black pianist performs at Carnegie Hall. He polishes off the technically difficult finale to enthusiastic applause. Afterward, he shakes hands with the white conductor. So it is the Nine of Swords. It is the I've already come a long way in my thinking. Um, I've made many decisions and reaffirmed my decisions and reassessed my decisions. And now it is time to confront this final piece with the Nine of Swords, one step away from the Ten of Swords, that I can challenge myself and my beliefs, because you need to change something. I don't know what that is about you that you need to change, and it is giving you nightmares, it is giving you grief and a lot of difficulty, but you cannot avoid it. What is this? What else can we see here about? What is the difficulty here about? What is this difficulty about? What is the controversy? The tug of war inside. Nine of Cups, another nine, another. This is the perfect card for showing I've come a long way and now I just need to align my thoughts and my emotions. Like your thoughts need to be updated, I think, based on your emotions. So you need to access your emotions and from those have an updated thinking, not the other way around. The basis is always the emotions, because the emotions come from the higher self. The higher self has the higher authority at all times. We cannot change that. We live in a life from the inside out, not from the outside in. If it was the other way around, I would say your thoughts come first and your emotions need to be updated. But actually, have you ever tried that? That's impossible. You, because we do not have as much control over our emotions as we do have over our thoughts. Our thoughts are much more, we are much more able to steer them than our emotions, which is exactly what I'm saying. The reason is that the emotions are closer to the higher self than the thoughts are. The thoughts are closer to us, the lower self, than the emotions are. And that's why trauma is such a problem, because trauma means that you have stored away some emotions unprocessed, a message from your higher self essentially, and you have not completely, not fully accessed it. I think you have actually done quite like a lot of work on it, because it's the Nine of Cups. It's not like the Two of Cups you just started or the Five of Cups halfway through. No, it is the Nine of Cups. It is one step away from completing the story. So congratulations on that. That's a huge feat, huge thing. So and I think that's also the reason why you're so frustrated. Like, I've put in already so much work. Like, I've asked the question, who am I? What is my purpose here? What the F am I doing? What is this all about? So many times, but still, it's not moving. But I think you just need to be patient and just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. So, what is the next step then with the Ten of Pentacles? For you, Queen of Swords on the floor. Another Libra card, another, well, maybe it's not justice. We see. It's more about decision making and having a clear head. Let's see. King of Wands. Yeah, making decisions, taking in information, and letting actions follow your words. Let's see. But it's not the complete story yet. Oh, that's a flipped card. Let's turn that around. What else can we see? We have the world. This time it's the first, the actual world card associated with Saturn. So you are going to finish it. You are going to finish it, definitely. I mean, it's a 10 of Pentacles, which is the perfect, well, it's out of suit, but it's still a 10, following from these two nines here. And now we have the world. So this closing of the cycle is really around the corner. At the end of July, I would say it's not going to take much longer than that. If it even takes that long. I mean, you could be faster. What else can we see? Like we see that this is closing out, but how? How? What is the next step? The death card showing itself. Transformation. Yeah, sure. We need to change. There we go. 2 cards. Let's see. Whoopsie. What? I made a mess. A bit of a mess. 4 of Swords. 7 of Swords. No Cups. There we are. 8 of Cups. A bit of a step back. A bit of a Mercury retrograde. It is still, yeah. It is an emotional journey. It is also a emotional confrontation. Because the 8 of Cups is also a bit of a confrontational card. I think it has some mercurial touch to it. Martin Goldsmith phrases it like this: the cabin of a ship during a violent storm at sea. A woman confronts the captain over the present course of the ship, pointing out on a large globe the course they should be taking. Usually I interpret it as it doesn't matter where you go, you just need to move. Because it's the first decan of Pisces. You just need to get your ship out on the ocean, following from Aquarius, establishing this Pisces energy. But here I feel like it is an emotional tug of war. It's really the woman attacking the captain and telling him, this is not right. This is not the course to take. And I feel the woman is your higher self, and you are the captain. You are the captain of the lower self, of the lower ship, so to speak, the lower representation of the ship, of your vehicle, your vessel, your chariot. And it triggers difficult emotions, difficult thoughts. Well, also difficult emotions based, and they lead to difficult thoughts and I think the solution here is to go within, going within and just giving space, giving this process space and time, like the classical chrysalis moment, the caterpillar turning into the, what is it, imago, I would say in German, like the puppy, no, not puppy, like this cocoon thingy. and then so that it can transform itself into a butterfly. And we see that with the Seven of Swords, which is it's traditionally a card of strategy, even cunning actions or cunning thoughts, can be a bit a card of jaded thinking. But here, I think the alternative that Martin Goldsmith gives with his deacon symbol is much more important, and he puts it like this: a skull lying in an old battlefield at the end of a box canyon, like a box canyon as a boxed in mind, like you're stuck thoughts, stuck thinking. And one of the eye holes, a spider sits in its web. Oh yeah, of the skull. Sorry, I forgot the skull. So a skull lying in an old battlefield at the end of a box canyon. In one of the eye holes, a spider sits in its web, while in the other a caterpillar is pupating. It weaves the web around itself, and after it has transformed into a butterfly, breaks out of its cocoon and flies away. That's essentially kind of like the death card that also showed itself when I was shuffling and trying to get clarifying cards for this period now. That's like your next step. And the Four of Swords is a card of meditation. I mean, this guy is, I always think of like he's meditating so hard, he's turned himself into stone, like he died. In a way, like make yourself so still inside that somebody on the outside could think you're dead. Like just shut yourself away. Just say bye-bye to the outer world in a way that people have like are wondering, is this person still around? I'm like hearing no peep. Like for days they have not sent a message, or um on a smaller scale, when you have people like living together with people, I have not seen them for hours. I don't know. I think they went to their room or something. Or maybe you have a place like a cabin in the woods, a shed, some workplace-ish hobby room, whatever, that you can kind of shut yourself away. That would help a lot, I would say, in your situation. And then it just needs time and a bit more of patience, I'm afraid. But it is worth it to stay in this kind of sucky energy because it makes us more resilient when we're able to hold difficult emotions for an extended period of time. It is a very, very, very useful ability to have, and it'll come, it'll become even more handy in the future, I would say, because we are facing a lot of changes, turmoil, even in the future. I think personally. So, and a lot of people agree with me on that. So that's what I have for you today. I hope this helped you in some form of way. I'm super curious to hear what you're going through, like how you would describe how what you're going through. So leave me a comment if you feel like it, so we can connect in the physical in this kind of way. I really would appreciate that. Also give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and you can subscribe to the channel if you like to, if that's your thing, if you want to see more videos of mine popping up in your feed. If that's not your thing, that's also cool. No problem. But I would really appreciate your comment. Really, really. I like to connect to people. Um, but that's what I have for you today, and I hope you have a splendid day. Bye bye.